Rohit always felt like he was being watched. At first, he thought it was paranoia, the remnants of childhood imagination clinging stubbornly to adulthood. But the feeling didn't fade. It grew. Wherever he went, a presence lingered behind him, just out of reach of his vision. In the corner of his eyes, movement he couldn't explain. A cold draft when doors were closed. Whispers that weren't spoken. He tried to convince himself it was nothing, that shadows in the mind are harmless, but deep down, he knew it was fear. Fear had followed him since childhood, a silent companion. It whispered during exams, during presentations, during moments when courage was needed. But now, at 27, it had grown bolder. It no longer whispered, it prowled, stalking his every decision, reminding him of the things he hadn't done, the business he had never started, the letters he had never written, the relationships he had avoided. Fear had taken shape, and it had a form, a shadow taller than him, shifting like smoke, merging with walls, bending corners, impossible to escape. One rainy evening, Rohit sat in his apartment, staring at a blank wall. The shadows from the street lamps outside stretched across the room, and he saw it there, behind the lamp's flicker, the shadow, taller than his own, moving independently. He froze, heart hammering. It wasn't real, it couldn't be real, but it was. The shadow crouched, lurched, paused as if testing him, daring him to act. He remembered his therapist's words. Fear is never outside. It only follows you because you allow it. Face it, name it, confront it. But how do you confront something that isn't tangible? Something that has been feeding on hesitation, on procrastination, on avoidance for years? Rohit decided to try. He lit every lamp in the room, flooded the space with light, and stared directly at the shadow. It flickered. Then it expanded. The air grew cold and his breath turned shallow. He felt as if the darkness had weight, pressing down, testing the boundaries of his body, his mind. And yet, he didn't move. He stared. He breathed. "You cannot run from me," the shadow seemed to say. A voice felt more than heard. "Every choice you avoid, every risk you refuse, every word you swallow feeds me. I am your hesitation. I am your fear. I am your regret in waiting." Rohit's hands trembled. His thoughts raced. All the unfinished tasks, the abandoned dreams, the excuses repeated silently for decades, they all screamed at him now. "You've wasted your life," it hissed. "You will never escape me." But in that moment, something shifted. He remembered a moment from childhood, standing at the edge of a cliff during a school trip, paralyzed with fear, his friend shouting, "Jump, you can do it!" And he had jumped. The water had been cold, the shock immense, but he had survived. He had learned then that fear only had the power he gave it, that courage wasn't the absence of fear, it was action in spite of it. Rohit's chest tightened. He clenched his fists. "You have no power over me," he whispered. His voice sounded small, fragile, but it was the first time he had said it aloud in years. The shadow wavered, twisting violently, almost as if it were surprised to be challenged. For the next days, Rohit engaged in battle with the shadow. It wasn't a battle of swords or fists, but of actions and choices. Every unfinished email he sent, every apology he offered, every small step toward his dreams, the business plan he finally drafted, the calls he made to old friends, the books he read on growth, the journal he began writing, each act shrank the shadow. It hissed and shrieked in silence, but it no longer loomed as before. One night, Rohit had a dream. He stood in a vast desert, the horizon burning in gold and red. The shadow approached, immense and threatening, but this time he did not flinch. He stepped forward, walked into it, embraced it, and suddenly it dissolved into light, into the energy of courage, focus, and determination. He woke up drenched in sweat, but something inside him had changed. The next months were transformative. The shadow never fully disappeared. It was a part of him, like a reminder etched into his being, but it no longer controlled him. He learned to act despite fear, to start despite hesitation, to speak despite self-doubt. He launched the business he had dreamed of, rekindled relationships, and began living a life filled with choices, actions, and purpose. Rohit understood a truth that most avoid. The shadow is not your enemy. It is your reflection of avoidance, procrastination, and unaddressed fear. When you confront it, step into it, and take action despite it, it transforms from a monster into a teacher. And sometimes, when Rohit glanced into the mirror, he saw not just himself, but the faintest trace of the shadow. A reminder, a whisper, a promise. A reminder that fear will always follow, but only as long as you let it. And he never let it control him again.